Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing tonight? Oh, wait a second. Speaker problem. Well, that was yucky. Okay. Evening. Hello, Party Bear Minis. Long time no see. Welcome back to the channel. It finally let me log in. Oh, hi, Reaper Dave. How are you? Supper time. Supper time. My supper time is late. Gets late tonight. So we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to show up. We actually made 2 Wednesdays in a row. That's scary. And it is cold as a well digger's butt in here in Kansas right now. That is a picture from our last, our December play day down at Reaper Game Store. There was much carnage. Did you bring some corny jokes to share with us, Reaper Dave? I know we don't have you visually here with all your fancy stuff. I have many corny jokes. I can pick up the slack. All right. Looks it. Maybe next time. We will have to have you on as a special guest. Reaper Dave joining us from Reaper headquarters. The city of happiness, Denton, Texas. Yeah. For sure. What's everybody else up to tonight? Other than supper? Getting ready for, let's see, what's coming up this month? Staying warm. That's a full-time deal around here. The factory floor is not the warmest place. I can do impressions. Oh, I look forward to those. You can do like different dogs, and we get to guess what breed you are. There's actually a story that came across on the news today here from Wichita that some people over in Wichita, that their beagle ran away 8 years ago or got stolen. I'm assuming stolen because it ended up, they found it in Idaho. Somebody found it walking around and took it to the vet, and luckily they had microchipped it and they scanned it, and they called the people in Wichita, and the people thought it was one of their other dogs and got out. And then when they told them they were in Idaho, they put two and two together and found out, hey, there's our beagle. So they managed to get him home. So he's back in Wichita, Kansas. Thought that was kind of a funny, feel-good story. Yeah. So, since everybody else craps on Kansas, I don't know if you've noticed, but any movie, any book, any TV series, if they have to make a shitty comment about a state, it's always Kansas or a city in Kansas. Literally in the last week, I have 3 times I've heard in a show, and they do it all the time. I'm like, why do you shit on Kansas? Hey, we don't have that many people. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. We leave everybody alone. It's gonna be like a new campaign I'm gonna have to start on. Love Kansas. or at least don't shit on us. We're like the center of the United States. Literally, the center of the United States is in Kansas. It's up in the northern edge, almost as you go into Nebraska. Nebraska came that close to having it, but it's still in Kansas. The center of the United States. I'm assuming they figure all that out some way. Well, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of crap you can talk about. Oklahoma. Yeah, well, I'm just saying though, I don't know if you look, there's like a TV's writer guide or something like that, that if you need to make a comparison for a shitty comment, use Kansas or a city in Kansas. Poor Topeka. They wear Topeka out. I don't know why that ends up being that way, but it is what it is. And there's a chance that the Kansas City Chiefs may actually be in Kansas. They're talking about maybe coming across the river again and setting up their border. So, I mean, it is Kansas City, I realize they're in Missouri, but it does say Kansas. So, okay, so let's get started for tonight. Where are we at with things? Okay, the new release should be going up on the store tomorrow to start taking orders. Yeah, Kansas City's in the Super Bowl again, the Chiefs. Growing up, I'm not a fair weather Chief fan. I've been a Chief fan from when I was a little kid. Used to, and I don't know if you can still do this or not, but you could they had like, I think it was like the Almanac book or something, but it was a big thick book that just had all kinds of information and stuff in it. But they used to list all the NFL teams. Sorry, I got sidetracked. With their names and addresses, and you could write a letter to the teams and say things or whatever, and generally they would send you stuff back. So one time as an experiment, I sent every team in the NFL at the time a letter, hey, asking about the team, stuff like that or whatever. And I think I don't know how many teams at the time. I ended up getting like 8 or 9 boxes worth of stuff, or envelopes with stickers and patches and all kinds of things. Kansas City sent a box. There was a crap load of good stuff in that box. So even though I lived in Kansas, so I was a Kansas City fan already, but Kansas City's always been my top team. Just blew the Cowboys away. Cowboys did send stuff, but the Chiefs sent a box. All right, new releases. We have the Vindicator, the Spike, the Scorpion, the Akula, and the Mastodon. They will be going up on the store tomorrow. You'll start being able to order them. We are casting them right now because the Cowboys suck. Well, that's the other thing. If anybody wants to shit on a team, it's always the Cowboys. I don't know if they do that anymore. Like I said, used to, it was like the Almanac or whatever. It was a great big thick book, and they had them in the libraries, and you could look up anything. I mean, it was just, this book had all kinds of stuff in it. And like I said, the teams were on there, and you just wrote them a letter, and they'd send you stuff. I forget how I heard about it or whatever. But anyway, so they sent all that stuff. Good news. We did manage to get the Mastodon to come in at $16.99. Fuck the Cowboys. Oh, great. I go off track. Everybody goes off track. Yeah, F the Eagles. I'll be with that. I actually could have been okay with Cincinnati. I mean, I like the Chiefs, but the Bengals, I'd have been okay with the Bengals being in there too. I rooted for them last time. But yes, we got the Mastodon to come in at $16.99. We managed to optimize things a little bit different and get more stuff on the molds than we thought we would. So anytime we can cut down on molds and get more figures casting at a time is good. So we lucked out on that deal. Well, actually, you looked up. So that was $3 cheaper than we thought it was going to be. So that's good. And that includes all the extra weapons so you can do all the 3 variants. All right. So that's good. We are casting and going. We're finishing up our release now. So, like I said, it'll be up on the store tomorrow, and I am just finishing up taking pictures and getting everything ready. I've got to do the 3 versions of the Mastodon. So once I get those finished in the morning, then we'll get everything up. We're trying to reformat our pictures going forward a little bit too, so that they are a little more widespread. And we will get, here over the next day or two, I will get the cards, the new updated cards for them out. And I was reminded that I had not done the Warden B yet, so I'll make sure I get the new Warden out as well. Those cards have to be hand done because the program doesn't handle the new stuff yet. Okay. Next up, we are going to talk a little bit about, we've got a little bit of a cross thing going up here starting tomorrow. I don't know if you're familiar with Rob's Tabletop World on YouTube. Rob's an old-time gamer. I met him at Origins 2018 or 2019. It's been a while. Great guy. Just fun to talk to, everything. He came up to our booth and introduced himself. We were at Origins that time. And he was had played CAV back when the first edition, and was just ecstatic that the fact that CAV was back out. He did an interview there that he put up on his website, and it's all still up there. I think you just have to do a little search if you go to his YouTube. I will put up his link. I've got it here because I copied it earlier. Because they've changed the way they do. You can now have your own links on your names for YouTube now. So, and since the Twitch actually let me finally log in, I can actually put stuff up on here. So anyway, so Rob, like I said, he put a video up. He's done a couple of painting videos. He did a video during the last Kickstarter. So he's always been a big supporter and always helped us out. And he's just a fun guy to talk to. Well, he contacted me earlier in the week, and he's back on a CAV kick. So obviously he, has looked to see about the dearth of the lack of YouTube content for CAV. So he's going to try to do his little part to rectify that. So we got him, he's starting tomorrow. He's going to do, I think there's going to be videos and some live streamings. I think tomorrow will be his first video, kind of explaining what he's going to do and what he's got coming up. I'm not going to go into all the details because I don't want to rain on his parade. Have a little bit of excitement for his deal. So we're very excited to do for that. We've given him some stuff to give away as gifts and to his subscribers and to his viewers. Please make sure, if you're not a subscriber to his YouTube page, please subscribe. These guys need that support that do this on a big time basis. And it doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it helps them out in that way, that you can like the videos, which helps them out too. And be notified, click the bell so that you get notifications when he's live streaming or putting up videos. I know that he's planning on working on this over the next 3 weeks. So there'll be lots of stuff. I believe that the plans are I'm going to appear on his channel, and he's going to come over here and be on our Twitch channel. So hopefully we'll be able to do that next week with him and have him on here, and we can just talk gaming and old school CAV and, kicking and killing stuff. Yay, go. So I'm really excited, looking forward to that with all the things that he's going to be doing. So please support him and be ready for that. What else is going on here at CAV HQ? Pretty much tied up on the release. We will have the updated quick start rules loaded up by sometime this weekend. We've got those updated with the new rules update. We're getting ready to send those off to the printer so that we can actually have the printed books and the cards again for us to give out at the shows and whatnot. Which, speaking of shows, we have Genghis Khan coming up here in 4 weeks. It's the fourth weekend of the month, the last weekend of the month. We will be doing CAV Day down at Reaper Game Store the weekend before. As we get here over probably next week and we get done with the release, I'll put some info out about that so that if you're planning on being there or just want to kind of see what we're going to do, hopefully I can get ahead of things a little bit and we'll be able to live stream from down there again while we're playing and whatnot. I do also intend, I'm slowly getting my upstairs here, the studio, with a bunch of stuff picked up and out of the way. Now that we've switched 3D printers, the 3D printers that we have now are too big to get up the stairs. So they have to stay downstairs now. So all the printers that we have upstairs, we're not using anymore. I'm boxing those up and going to put those up for sale on eBay here or something pretty soon and get rid of those so that they're out of the way. But that's opened up a whole lot of space up here. So I'm getting the gaming table all squared away with the cameras and everything like that. And I plan on putting up a campaign game pretty soon that we can stream from on Wednesday nights and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to that, or maybe just do a weekend, weekend event thing, kind of a virtual deal again. I would love to do a virtual convention again. Just the fact that we've had so much fun doing them. So I'm going to try to get something together for that again this summer. I really enjoyed the times that we've done them. Yeah, well, and that's what it's really good for is even if it's me fighting myself, I can talk through what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. So that helps a lot when you're trying to learn a game if it's not something that you're playing all the time. So lots of stuff going on. I am getting turned back around to start working on the data cards again and get the new versions updated and out there. That, like I said, missing the first 2 weeks of January because of COVID just has kicked my butt with stuff, and we're always behind anyway, so it really sucked. I have been going full time on working in the evenings on the campaign book and everything like that. So we'll have some information on those coming up. The expanded initiative decks, I'm still trying to get a couple more pictures in that we need some artwork for. I'll also be here over the next week or two updating the update with typos and a couple of tweaks that we needed to go in. Lots of new artwork and stuff in it, so and cleaned it up a little bit more. We got kind of rushed at the end trying to get it out, and so I want to get that squared up and a new copy out. So I apologize to the people that's printed one out. Sorry. At least you don't have to buy a new book, right? Okay. What else? I want to get back to, we got to build some more terrain too. We got to do some stuff like that. Every time I see that picture, that board, I'm like, oh man, I want to build a cool board again. I'm hoping too, I've got, so back when we did the first CAV tournament, I think it was Tabletop something, Fat Matt, something, I don't know. Anyway, they helped sponsor a tournament and supplied a bunch of game mats to us at a greatly discounted price. We've got so many freaking of those mats still in the box that we haven't used. I need to throw those up on the website. So I need to check and see what it's going to cost to ship them. I know that a lot of the game mat companies now are folding them up. I know that it's supposed to, the fold is supposed to come out of that mouse material, but I don't know. I'm kind of scared about it. Not to mention I like them in the roll with the tube and the bag and everything. So we'll look and see what it costs to ship those now. I know shipping's nuts with all the sizes and everything. So, all right. Well, I managed to ramble for 20 minutes tonight. What else can I go over? What are some questions? What would you like me to talk about? I could tell Reaper Dave stories, but Dave may not like that. That's so cool that you come and join us tonight, Reaper Dave. I feel like I got a rock star following me now. Everybody asks, go into a room. Who's CAVBoss? I don't know. Who's Reaper Dave? We know who Reaper Dave is. Virtual Con. Those, like I said, we had so much fun with those last time. Especially the last one when we had several people here at the shop to help us with it, and joined within Party Bear was there. He came in and did stuff. Just spitball. I don't know, stories about you or about Virtual Con. I do want to try. I mean, they're obviously not everything worked perfect for the deal, so I would like to try some new stuff. I've kind of looked around to see some things that some other shows have done. I know obviously RPGing is really, really good for them. So maybe we'll be far enough ahead that we could do a RPG adventure or something like that with the new rules. With the RPG, now that WotC has surrendered and decided that they're not going to nuke the open game license, that we were kind of in a holding pattern until that figured out what the crap that was going to be. But now that seems to be how it's straightened out. So that's a big plus. So we can kind of pick up from where we were on the RPG side of things. But other than that, I mean, obviously with Party Bear and people like that, we have the painting demos and stuff like that. But the thing about that is at this point, I mean, how many paint demos can you watch? I mean, there's obviously, if you watched the show before, you've seen stuff that we've done with paint deals. There's 10 million videos on YouTube and everything now of everybody doing paint demonstrations and stuff like that. So I think that probably ideally we want to be more game oriented, just things that we can watch and things that we can do as opposed to classes or something like that. Maybe with the painters, find painters that play CAV, that are putting together, a unit or something like that, and kind of they can talk through why they picked this model or did this model, and what they're trying to do, and they can spend more time discussing that while you watch a paint, as opposed to trying to learn something from somebody that's painting something. Especially when it's live, you end up going back and rewatching the videos over and over and over. So that would be cool. Obviously, we'll have some swag, some other things like that. I know that you're getting ready to redo the metal CAVs that are out there. The Fire Drake, the Circuit. I don't know. There's 3 or 4 of them. that we will be switching over into plastic. So if you have not got a metal one and you want a metal one, I would suggest that you get it very soon, because I don't think we're casting anything new up. Yeah, the dart, the circuit, the Emmet, not the Emmet, the Anher or something like that, and then the Fire Drake. But we'll get those all out. We'll come up with some new variants to go along with the release as well. But that'll get those out. The Scimitar is right now being redone by Stringer Designs over out of Europe. So that'll be an all new model for that particular tank. So I look forward to that. It's going to be a variant one too. So there's going to be the Scimitar, the Saracen, and the Saladin. They will be one's an attack, one's a fire support, and one's a recon. So they'll all use the same hull, but they'll have different turrets. So that'll be pretty cool. That'll be our first multi-vehicle pack. That'll let you go in. And what's cool with turrets is, you can paint them all up and then since they're all using the same hull, and just change out the turret and use whichever one you want. So there's not a matter of needing extras or magnets or anything like that, because you can just change out the turrets. So I think those work out pretty cool. They also will be switched over to regular bases. They won't be the CAVs won't be slotted bases. They'll have regular bases like we do with the others. Textured bases. We are getting very close to start releasing our textured bases. I believe that the intention on those is both 30 and 40 millimeter bases. Multiple, different designs. We'll have a couple of kind of far out ones like a moonscape and stuff like that, but most of the time nobody's going to use anything like that. So I think that the bases that we have are a lot more situational for put some texture on them so that you can paint them up. I'm sure they're dual cast. Bases are the easiest thing in the world for us to cast. So, and really from a standpoint of what you're getting or whatever, we're really not going to differentiate it. You're never, you may get a plastic model that may be 3D printed, or you may get one that dual cast. I mean, literally the material is so close, both in color and texture and everything like that. It's really hard to tell. I think the only way you would ever tell is if the two of them were next to each other. Because color's off just a tad. But as far as actually feeling them and everything like that, you really can't tell. So that's what's the great thing about these going forward, is the support that we put on them is so thin and small that it literally falls off. Really, the only place that you even can see it is sometimes it leaves a little shiny dot where it was touching because literally it just sheared off for there. So it's like plastic, you bust it open, and when you see the inside of it, it's more shinier than the outside. Cost-wise, it's relatively the same. The 3D material is a little more expensive than the dual cast plastic, but there's no molds, so it cuts down on labor and making molds. So it's kind of a wash price-wise. but I'm all in. So we will have, of course, in March, towards the end of March, we have Adepticon up in Chicago that we will be up there. Hoping we're going to probably have some events while we're there. We're trying to get final what tables we're going to get and everything like that. We will have one of our 3D printers in the booth. So make sure if you're there, come by, check it out. You can see it goes. We'll have samples for you to look at. Well, I don't know if we're going to have any giveaways yet for that stuff or some samples, but we'll see what we can do. But it's great stuff. Technology is gone crazy. So I look forward to those for that meeting. So if you're at Adepticon, come by. We're also I'm finishing up designs on the MDF bridge that everybody's been asking for. So hopefully we'll have that by Adepticon. So if you're looking forward for a bridge, we're going to have some bridges. Probably add some different pieces to it too, so you can change it up a little bit for different things as far as details and stuff. I'm also working on another drop ship. I had a couple ideas for another MDF drop ship that I'd like to do. Probably it will be the Amethyst drop ship. That one especially because nobody knows what it looks like yet. So, that's what we lucked out with the Badger, because we were able to do the Badger in MDF and basically look like the miniature just because it was so blocky. There was a couple of things we had to change up, I think, for the better, so that for the MDF side of things. But like I said, I've got a new design in my head that, since I can design from scratch on this one and not try to follow along like with the Badger, I think I can really push it and come up with a pretty great ship that you can build out of MDF. I'm also looking at, I'd like to do, I'm building one anyway out of an extra one that I had, one of the earlier prototypes of the Badger, but a wreck, for putting on your board. I'd like to come up with a smaller type kit, to stand in for a drop ship wreck or something like that we could put on the board. I think those are pretty cool, and goes along with the scenario that I'll be putting up and working on with some other things. We will also be releasing the engineering pack, which is going to be starting off with the recovery vehicle, the recovery trailer. We put some pictures up in the past. These will not be a regular release. These are not going to be something that we're going to put in the pack and sell. This will be a order from the website only kind of thing. They will all be 3D printed, mainly because with engineering vehicles and stuff like that, they're just cool to have, but they're not something that the vast majority of people are going to want to pick up. So there's really not a point of us putting it together as a kit. I will add to that as we go, so it'll actually kind of become its own little line of things, almost more into the terrain side of things. Because really, I mean, obviously, if you have a scenario with the vehicles or something like that, it'd be cool to use. But other than that, it's just stuff to put on the board for dressing. I'd like to do those. I'd like to get some futuristic cars and trucks, things like that kind of go with the CAV vibe that people will be able to download, or be able to purchase packs of to paint up and put on their board. Especially, I loved. I don't know if anybody's done it before, but I'd like to do some air cars to go on the stands. It'd be kind of cool to see them fly through there. I definitely am going to have to do the taxi from the Fifth Element. So get your multi-pass ready. Alrighty. I hate having to talk for an hour. Yeah, a micro machine does those things like that, but I don't know. I'm not a big micro machine. Some of them look okay. I don't know. I don't think they have the uh, uh, right vibe. I need a good vibe. You could that could be a great objective in the deal is you can hide cars around the board and they have to try to find the cars. Just kind of as a sub goal. Hey, let's go crush the cars. But like I said, I definitely am going to do the. There's probably an STL file for it out there already too. Let's see, STL file for taxi from Fifth Element. Why, yes, there is. Cool. Not super detailed, but I can fix that. Of course, I think they built this for a big kit. Oh, that is a hurry up and get done kind of thing. Yeah, and scenarios. I know that I've been talking about getting the tournament rules out. I'm tweaking those a little bit too. I had kind of a couple ideas to go with those, and that kind of got the scenario thread on the forums started a couple of weeks ago. I definitely want there to be more scenario driven games out there available for you to pick up on the deal. I do think that I've kind of held off from doing it, but I think I'm going to go ahead. I might have mentioned this before. So, back after CAV 2 came out, there was a group called Milnet that they put out they had helped on the rules, and they put out a couple of game manuals. I think it's War for Sale and Shrapnel or something like that. I approached them back at the very beginning to see if they would be interested in us updating those to the new version of CAV, so story-wise and everything like that. And if you've been around any time, you know how kind of that went over with some of the CAV 2 old school guys. They weren't very impressed with me or with CAV Strike Ops. So there wasn't really a lot of interest on that part. But all that material is ours to use because they released it under our copyright or under CAV Reaper at the time. So when we took over CAV, obviously we got all that as well. I don't know where these guys are anymore. I haven't seen them around. I don't see them posting anymore. I haven't got any threatening emails about killing my cat or putting fireworks down my toilet or something like that. So I feel like it's safe to come out of the bunker. That part of it will be okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think that regardless of the water under the bridge or whatever like that, they did a really great job with those books and with what they had at the time. And I more want them out there just because I don't want that stuff to fall away. I mean, I don't hold a grudge. I never got mad at any of them or anything like that. I mean, I get it. When you're creative and, you think that, the world did you wrong and did you dirty or whatever. It's easy to take it out on me, the big guy, which is fine. I got a thick skin, sort of. But, I love this stuff. I liked reading it. I liked looking at it. They did a couple of novellas as well. I don't think we'll mess with those. But I think that the 2 campaign books, I think, would be cool to put together and update that so that it goes more in with the CAV theory, with the way CAV is now in the background. I'd love to at some point too. So back in the day, we had a novel written up. It's called The Big Dance. I believe, is it Matt Forbeck that wrote it? I can't remember. I think it was Matt Forbeck that wrote it. But anyway, so he wrote that. Dave, you'd be a good one on that too, because me and Ed had talked about it in the past or whatever. But I think, of course, now Matt's like a big time. Yeah, he's like a big writer now. I mean, he's like done New York Times and bestsellers and stuff like that. So, he's got big novels out there. But I think it would be interesting to go back and I think this was one of Matt's first books that he ever wrote as far as a story novel or novella or whatever. And it's a little rough in places. First time writer out the door. Probably could have had a little better editor to hold his hand with some things. But I think it'd be cool to take that story and update it into the new CAV universe and get a new version of it out there. Make it like a downloadable Amazon book or something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. Make it a little more readable and include the story. Because obviously, some things, a lot of things in the CAV universe are the same, but other things are different. We don't nearly have the mixing of the well, I don't know. I don't think so, because I think he did that as work for hire for Reaper. I believe that's what Ed told me. I don't know. We'd have to see how that flows out, because I would think that if it's work for hire and it's I think you can go back and do whatever you want to do with it, unless there's some kind of top secret contract that I don't know about that says you can never touch this. So I'm sure he'd like it to go away. He's like, oh, I wrote that. It'd be nice if we could get with him and have him rewrite it. But I think Matt's out of our league these days. It's hard to find all the good. There's not a whole lot of good writers out there anymore that you can go to and try to get them to write a book. I know you can go to. There's like a lot of ghostwriters and stuff like that on Fiverr that you can go and get them to ghostwrite your books. I don't know how great that would be. So here's, and I think this is one of the reasons I think. From an accounting point of view, I think there's a lot of accounting in it. So, I think there's a whole business. There's probably a life business lesson in there. Chat GTP. So I've actually been playing with that. The other day, I was getting it to write news releases. Just giving it some information and stuff like that. And it did a pretty good job with some of them. Some interesting, it added to it enough that you could actually create a scenario based off of a lot of the deals. and it would be kind of cool to have a daily news article or something pop up that I definitely want to build on the universe. We need more of the background and stuff like that. I don't want there to be the 350 books like BattleTech has, but I want to build on that universe. And as we go into the campaign book and the rules of engagement with that, and then the new journals, we'll start filling in more of the background info and things like that, because we're kind of stuck in our timeline right now, and I want to start advancing that forward, because we have lots of new things that are going to happen that we've touched on here and there. We're going to advance the Rock. Their mentality is great and everything like that, but they're not unintelligent. I mean, they managed to get to space without anybody else helping them. So, over time, that warrior mentality works on itself. So, the Smash Poets are coming to smash the universe. So, I want there's going to be some upheaval in the Rock universe. Eventually, I want there to be much more mixing of the races. The problem that I had with the original, the CAV original story or whatever, is it kind of had that Star Trek vibe to it. There was all these mixing of all the races and everything like that. But there was no reason behind it. There was no, generally when you have that mixing of the deals or whatever like that, it's either, 1,000 years worth of time has caused that to come together, or, there was an all-seeing empire. That's basically what happened in Europe with the way that, Rome controlled all that. And so, they're all the little bits, all roads lead to Rome. And so they picked up a lot of Roman things and stuff like that. And naturally, when the Roman Empire fell apart, it caused everybody to go back into these little blobs of people that turned into their little groups, brought on the Dark Ages, and later on, everybody started combining again, and we had the Renaissance. So I want to move that timeline along so that we start getting into more of that from the story side of things. Because I think that will, from an RPG, once the RPG and stuff goes into it and things like that, it's just, we want to have the ability to different races being on different planets for whatever reason. We're still, have our localized groups, our empires. And we've made them mention before, there are other races out there. They're just not on the level, as long as there's plunder. There's always pirates. Lots of plunder. They just are not on the level of the groups that we have right now. That's not to say there's not another one out there that we haven't found yet, but we've got that always to look forward to. So the Rock is going to go through an upheaval. They've been ruled by the Iron Hand of the Emperor for a long time, and there's always people looking to greed and power is a trait that is owned by many, many, many different races, people, animals. I mean, it's like animals and food. They want all the food. They'll eat you if you don't like it. we also have the Adenese. The Adenese are getting ready to go through a big upheaval. The Adenese, the Confederation came about as a result of a planet-wide civil war that they nearly destroyed themselves. Imagine the United States having a civil war today with modern technology. That's basically what happened with the Adenese, is they had a planet-wide civil war that nearly destroyed them, broke them into their individual states, back into the states, led to the formation of the Amethryl. Those were the survivors from a couple of the things after the fight that fled and have built up from there. But all those things that were out there just don't automatically go away, and it's taken time for it to regen or whatever like that. And of course, you have the Amethryl and those original provinces throwing a wrench into the whole works. So I think and there's a lot of Adenese that are tired of being the universal peacekeepers. So there's a whole lot of things to structure there. The kind of the unknowns are the Malverns and the Templars. Obviously, the Templars, their whole philosophy has fallen apart with the discovery of other races and things like that. The religious trappings that go along with the Templar Knights, has fallen apart to an extent because of the discovery, of other races and so forth. Also, you have a lot of people that had a lot of power. Most of it, it kind of was kept in check from the standpoint of they had to keep everything hidden. They couldn't be an open deal, or the jig would be up. But now that that's out there, you've got a lot of powerful people that are part of the Templars that I don't know. There's 2 or 3 things that could happen there. With the Malverns, obviously, we have a religious jihad kind of an undercurrent there, not to the level of what we see sometimes with our Middle East, but there is a level of this holy power that the great and mighty Cardulus. But there's a lot of Malvernans that don't necessarily follow along with the further you get away from, the dead center of their state, there's not everybody is a big Cardulus follower. So there's lots of different little aspects there in the deal. And the last but not least are the Terrans. Obviously we have the Terran Federation, but what's weird is the Terran Federation is not nearly the all-encompassing state as some of the others. They are a strong military because they had to be. They had to fight back against the Rock. They got onto a war footing that pretty much that's all they did for a long time was we're fighting for survival, and we go with that deal. But the focus was on a very limited part of Terran space because, the Rock charged up this corridor and, everybody fought back and luckily with the help of the Adenese and the Templars, they were able to push the Rock back across a semblance of the border. There were still some Terran worlds that are still controlled by the Rock to this day. And obviously with kind of Hellspire there being on the border. And just FYI, somebody said something to me about the other day. I get it. I know Hellspire is this big world in Warhammer these days, but Hellspire was at CAV a long time before it was ever in Games Workshop. So we did not take the name Hellspire from Games Workshop. We already had it. Sorry, guys. But that's kind of turned into, over the years, has been the pressure valve, to release some of the pressure, because the Rock like to fight, and you give them a place to fight. That's helped some. But because of that Terran, tunnel vision on fighting the Rock and staying in that deal, a lot of Terran space got dropped to the wayside. So you had lots of Terran systems that had to take care of themselves, or that were originally settled by corporations or whatnot as mining worlds or anything. And those became very independent. So you have lots of independent worlds and systems within the Terran space, more so than you have in the others. Also, the corporations are very, very strong in Terran politics and stuff. They have their worlds that they are the sole power. I guess they pay a little lip service to the Terran Federation. There are worlds that have come back and joined the Terran Federation over time. Obviously, those are more towards the border with the Rock and stuff, out of mutual need, And the Terran legions, became a very, very strong, powerful force, just from the sake of they had so many of them. Hence why so many of the legions are based upon real, Earth-based militaries. After the Rock attack and whatnot, lots of military was destroyed and whatnot. Governments came together as one. So as they were putting all that together, a lot of real world units became the basis for the legions. So you get some tie. The Screaming Eagles, the 101st, the Black Watch, the Iron Horse, things like that. They can trace their lineage back to real Earth units. And then now worlds are required, if you're part of the Terran world, you have to have a defensive legion and whatnot to be part of their deal. So a lot of legions now become more planetary based, but you still that first, 100, 150 legions are primarily Earth based, originally from Earth, they bring people in from all over the Federation, but as far as headquarters and original is based upon from the Terran world. So, all right, I have rambled on. I managed to kill another 30 plus minutes. Thank you. Without having to tell any corny jokes. So we've got a couple of minutes left. Anybody, quick questions? Something you want me to touch right quick? My hope is next week that we will have Rob on here. And so we'll have an hour of me and Rob talking CAV and probably a little bit of our background as far as gaming and things that we enjoy and stuff like that. So I look forward to that. I like having somebody to play off of. I miss having James on here. I wish I could get him talking back into coming back. Other than that, we're going to start finishing up. We're down to the wire. As always, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the time that you come to spend with us. I know a lot more people watch the video later afterwards. I just see the count. So, hopefully in the future we can get more people to show up live, give us some more conversation pieces. Well, like I said, Gimli, thank you for being here. Reaper Dave, you put it on your calendar. You got to come onto the show. We get to tell stories about the old days, so just plan on that. So did you get my text that I answered back? Did you see the text I answered you back earlier today? So if you do, if you got any questions or whatever, just let me know. Call me or whatever, because I've heard a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on with those guys. So anyway, well, guys, good night. I'm out of here. I will talk to you later, and take care. Be safe. Peace.